in the sunny, flower-filled kingdom of Bellaflora, where tulips grew as tall as ponies and birds sang in four-part harmony, lived a spirited little girl named Princess Tilly. She was only 12 years old, but she had the energy of a galloping horse and the imagination of 100 dreamers. Tilly wasn't like other princesses. She didn't care for ballroom curtsies, long lessons on how to wave properly, or wearing shoes that pinched her toes. What she loved most, more than cake, more than sparkly dresses, even more than crown polishing day, was dancing. She danced everywhere, down the castle halls, across the drawbridge, and even on the royal dining table once, but only once after that. King Reginald banned tabletop tap dancing, though he secretly smiled about it later. But there was one very silly problem. Her shoes never stayed on. She would leap, twirl, spin, and off would fly a shoe. It happened so often that the castle cobbler started adding little bells to her shoes so they could hear where they landed. One morning, Queen Mirabel knocked gently on Tilly's door. "Darling, today is the Spring Bloom Festival. You'll be in the parade this year." Tilly leaped out of bed with a joyful squeal. "Yay! Can I dance on the float again?" The Queen laughed. "Only if you promise to keep both shoes on this time." Tilly crossed her fingers behind her back. "Of course, Mother." After breakfast, she was dressed in a shimmering pink gown with flower petals stitched along the sleeves. On her feet were new silver slippers, glittery, soft, and snug. As the parade began, floats covered in blossoms rolled through the town square. Musicians played flutes and fiddles. Children tossed flower petals in the air. Princess Tilly stood on her float proudly, but when the music started, she just couldn't help herself. Her feet took over. Spin, leap, twirl. A silver shoe flew straight into the air, somersaulted over the royal lemonade fountain, and disappeared into the crowd. The float rolled on without her. Tilly hopped off with one bare foot and one slippered foot, trying not to panic. "Oh no, not again," she muttered. "Mother is going to be so." She stopped. She wasn't worried about being scolded. She was embarrassed. Everyone had seen. Some were giggling, some just stared. She tiptoed around the square, lifting tablecloths and peering into flocks. She even asked the royal peacocks, but they just fluffed their tails and walked away with no interest in lost footwear. That's when she heard a soft laugh. "You dance better with one shoe than I do with two." Tilly turned to see a girl her age holding the silver slipper. She wore a flower crown and a smudge of dirt on her cheek, as if she'd just been digging in a garden. Her name was Penny, the gardener's daughter. "I caught it before it landed in the lemonade," Penny said proudly. Tilly laughed, a little shy now. "Thanks. I always seem to lose a shoe when I dance." "Maybe your shoes want to dance too." Penny grinned. Tilly looked at her, surprised. No one had ever said something so silly and so perfect about her before. Tilly asked Penny what it was like to live in the gardens instead of the castle. Penny asked what it was like to eat soup with 5 different spoons. They giggled and made up a game called Buttercup Ballet, where they danced in circles and tried not to step on any daisies. "I think I like being barefoot better," said Tilly, wiggling her toes. Penny agreed. "Me too. Shoes are fine, but the earth feels nicer." At the end of the day, Queen Mirabel found Tilly, grass-stained and smiling, carrying her shoes in one hand and holding Penny's hand in the other. Instead of scolding her, the queen knelt down and smiled. "You may not be the most traditional princess," she said gently, brushing a leaf from Tilly's hair, "but you may be the happiest one." And from that day on, Tilly wore her shoes to official castle events, but as soon as she was done, off they came. And soon she wasn't the only one dancing barefoot, and whenever someone asked why she was always missing a shoe, Tilly would say with a wink, "I don't lose shoes. I just set them free."